Hello. Good morning, everyone. This is Fani Renderers coming to you live this morning of the Tuesday, the 20th of August. I just felt like an ad hoc stream this morning. And if it's good, we could do something like this. The moment I say heads up and I say hello, you will hear a cat. And if I say JavaScript, for instance, you will hear the horses. So let's see how we can build this in .NET Core. Yo, back again. How is everyone's life this morning? For all the viewers that's viewing me this morning, good morning. Let me know, how are you? I don't have a lot of time this morning, so I figured I'm gonna quickly play around with with an idea that I had. Watching Jeff Rich's show, I think it was last week or something. Jeff had hi Martin. I look sleepy, of course. I always look sleepy. No sleep hashtag. So in any case, so Jeff Rich had this on his show. He has this effects when people, for instance, say JavaScript. That happens, right? So he's got these effects that he plays, but he plays it manually. So I was like, it would be nice to have wake words during your stream. So you have a little software running, like a console application, for instance, running. And the moment you say wake words like JavaScript, for instance, or even the other one is hello. I don't know what there's two, or hello, that's another one. It sort of triggers on a config file, and it creates this effect. And it's not really difficult to do. And I thought, well, I've created this concept last night, and I would like to share it to you. And the idea is to, I think, make this a bit better so that we can maybe have like visuals or something on the screen. So I thought, well, it might be a good project to start. So something different than the SDNcast website that we're doing. That project is, by the way, still going on in Blazor, and I will be working on that project for quite some time now still, but let's see how it goes. So I'm going to switch over to my screen to show you guys what is actually what is actually happening. So, but by all means, if you have any questions and or comments, please let me know in the chat here. That we can have a conversation about it. This is very informal, like I said. And if you do like my content, please subscribe or follow me. There's a little heart icon here. Just click that heart icon and you will follow me. And if you do, maybe there's like a Capigen storm coming up. Like this will happen. We'll see what happens. I've got a lot of Easter eggs in my stream that I slowly but surely introduce. But in any case, so let's see if we can switch over to my screen. Where's my screen now? Oh, there we go. There's my screen. Great. Right. So let's see. I've no idea who is joining me. I'm just like out of the blue, just doing a few things. Hopefully someone is... I know Martin is here. Martin's always here. He always watches my stuff. So what do I have here? This don't judge this code. This is like really, really POC style code. So what do I have? So the idea is whenever you say the wake word, and in this case it won't work because it's not running. Whenever you say the wake word like JavaScript, for instance, I want it to look in kind of a file. For instance, I have this config file called triggers.json, and it's got like all the triggers that I register, right? So this is for instance when I say JavaScript, it needs to play the horse sound, the horse MP3, and when I say hello, it needs to go and play the meow wave file. And it turns out the code I'm using obviously some kind of AI tools to make this work, right? So Microsoft Cognitive Services has a speech API, which is quite cool. We can actually quickly go to the let me see, where is it now? Let's go Microsoft Cognitive Services. Let's move this one. No, that's the wrong one. Cognitive Services. Let's quickly go to that one. And let's see. So they've got a lot of APIs going. One of which is the one I was looking for, is this speech API, and this is quite cool. You can do lots of cool things. Just want to maybe put this music up tad too soft. Two cool things with this, for instance, speech services or speaker recognition, for instance. That's actually quite cool. Let's actually see how this demo works for speaker recognition. So, like Obama, if you want to play Obama.
We gather because we have chosen purpose, conflict.
So President Barack Obama is identified. So you can do cool stuff like that. So with cognitive services, and the speech services includes speech to text, text to speech, and speech translation. So one of the ideas I had using this is kind of have a real-time translation to Dutch, for instance, for the Dutch viewers out there, or even for the guys that are hard of hearing, for our disabled guys, to be able to also see the stream. But I think there are already built-in tools for transcriptions of a stream. But think about these kind of things can be quite helpful for transcribing a podcast instead of going manually going over it. I hope that's what people do, manually typing. Otherwise, what I'm saying is not really making sense. So we have also business scenarios. I don't know what that means, but fine. So I went to this speech to text one. And for instance, there's this little sample about, I hope you guys can hear this, but this is a sample about a typical scenario where there's an interview.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Katie.
Have you heard about the new conversation transcription capability?
No, tell me more.
It's the new feature that transcribes our discussion and lets us know who said what.
That sounds interesting. I'm going to give this a try.
So we can do this. this one is, for instance, a good example, like for instance, like I said, in a podcast, and have a full transcription of the actual show afterwards. Now, this is what I was actually looking for, is this speech transcription kind of API. So convert spoken audio to text. And for some reason, there are obviously different language types you can guess. For some reason, it picks up the English US better than English Britain, UK, my voice. So for instance, if I go, okay, I need to allow. Hello friends, how are you today? And welcome to the show. It doesn't even work. That's quite cool. Let's try again. Hello, testing 1, 2, 3. This used to work. It worked on my machine. Let's see. Testing 1, 2, 3. Is it because something else is using this? No. Testing 1, 2, 3. Looks like this one is broken. But this was working. Maybe this is not working in Edge. I've tried this out and it's let's see, welcome, blah blah blah. Let's see if this works here. It should work. Hello. Hello. It doesn't work here. But for some reason it doesn't want to work on...
Welcome to the Microsoft Speech Service as part of the Microsoft Azure Cognitive Services.
Okay, that works. Welcome to the Microsoft... This totally doesn't work. So there's obviously something happening. But in any case, this was working a while ago, so trust me on this. So the idea was to use this API, and to do this you need an Azure subscription, which I have. You can just click the big old try button to create one. So I've went into Azure, created a Cognitive Services resource, and it gave me my my keys, my subscription key you would need, and your endpoint for accessing it. I'm not going to share my whole screen because there's this little subscription thing that's not really necessary. I can also rotate it. But in any case, so what we have here, we have a program that runs, and we start off with creating. This one is not really necessary. Actually, delete this one. Now there are two modes. I can actually show you. So I've got two functions: recognize speech and speech continuous recognition. So what that means is that recognize speech, that's the default option. So if you want to recognize a certain text or a certain audio, for instance, that's maximum 15 seconds long, or is followed by space, by white space, not white space, by silence. So if it recognizes silence, that's the end of that segment. So it sort of analyzes 15 seconds max, or whenever it gets its silence. So it will take those, it will get those segments out and translate them. Or we can go continuous speech recognition, and as we are recognizing things, we can do things. So in our case, just pardon, there's lots of code. It's here. There are two functions. So how this works is you create a new recognizer, a speech recognizer, passing in your config, which is your subscription keys and stuff like that. And then you have to subscribe to events. So when I'm in the process of recognizing the text, in this mode, whenever this event gets fired off, it means that the text, it might not be the final version. It might be sort of either gibberish or halfway to gibberish or the final product. But as the cognitive services try to figure out what you are trying to say, this event will be firing off. So, and this other one that's commented out, recognizer.recognized, if it's 100% sure that this was the final result, if it was classified as this is the end result. This event is fired off. So I thought, well, I'm going to go for the recognizing. So in the process of talking, that's the quickest way of we getting the wake words to be able to getting that recognized. That's why I uncommented this, because it kind of happened too slowly. We can actually see what the difference is between these two. So let me see if I'm just actually gonna comment all the dispatcher out. So look what's happening to the program now when I run this. Hello, testing 1 2 3 4 5. So immediately when I start speaking, you will see the recognizing parts is fired off. This part. But then when it's final, this is getting fired off, but only when it's done. So it might be, you could have said JavaScript 16 times, and then at the end it will have a string of 16 JavaScript sentences, but then play it off 16 times. The idea was to get it, also then it would be a delay of, I think, max 15 seconds or something. So the idea was to get it as soon as possible. So that's why I'm using this recognizing thing. If you just joined us in the show, welcome very much. Thank you very much for joining. Do reach out if you have questions. Post them on the chat just here, and I will see if I can answer them. Okay, so whenever this is recognized, I then call into this dispatcher. So I've created a kind of dispatcher that I just give a string to. It's just a normal class that has a dispatch function taking in a text. And then what I'm doing is I'm keeping track of the last text, the last sentence that was busy being said, and also if something is playing or not. So then what I'm doing is I'm going, for instance, if there's nothing said before, whatever comes in, well, if there's something said before, like for instance a half a sentence, it could be a half a sentence because this is in recognizing mode, right? And every time something is recognizing part of the sentence, I don't want this whole duplicate triggers to fire off. So what I want to do is, in this case, I want to take my text and replace my previous sentence out of there. So I want to clean it up. So this text at the end will be the latest changes, or the latest text that comes in. And then I have my little triggers that I load from file. We can go back here to see down here, where I just serialize that from a JSON file. Then I see if it's, for instance, does that contain is it in a file, that key? And if it is, I'm calling the play function with that value. So the play function, I write it to the console what it is, that key, and then the play function just plays the file that I pass in. So in this case, it's the value. So this is the value and this is the key. Okay. Life Renko, hello. Thank you very much. Just thoughts. How do you think is it possible to write code by your own voice? Will it be a next step or just a show-off feature? Well, it's interesting discussion. It's interesting question. It's totally possible to basically write anything with your voice. We could do like a example, but the thing is, the models that are trained with this cognitive services is specifically for normal conversations, right? But you can totally, and this is a great idea actually, going back to cognitive services, you can make your own custom speech models. So it's not that difficult to do. So it will take some training to do so you can build your own models. So for instance, if you talk about a class, do you talk about a classroom or do you talk about a class in code, right? So if you make a special programming model and if you lead speak to this programming model, it should be possible to create a piece of code from your voice. Life Renko, that's a very, very, very good question, and it's totally possible, I believe. Maybe someone like Elon Musk or someone will come out with some ideas, but I don't know how practical that would be. But definitely for guys with some kind of disability or something, it will be awesome. How's the music doing, guys? Because I have no idea what to play in this morning. Let's play some, I think, upbeat maybe. I don't know what upbeat songs are. That might be better in the morning. Come on. Right, so going back to the code. So we have basically this when it's recognizing something. I dispatch that event and then, yeah, in essence, it just plays that. So, and the thing about .NET Core, there is no support out of the box or native support for playing audio files. So, and I think it's only supported in Windows, and there's special implementations for Linux, but I'm running Windows. So for this POC, I just decided to use Windows implementation, but there are no out of the box audio implementations for .NET Core, but there is a library called NAudio. So in NAudio, you can get it on UGET. It's a .NET standard library. I have not done my research on if it's completely cross-plat, but I suppose they have a facade. So depending on if you're Linux or whatever, they will use the right libraries underneath to play the files. But it's quite simple. I just initialize this audio file reader and bind it to a wave out event, and then I just play it. And then while it's playing, I would like to set my state to playing true, because if I don't do that, if I say JavaScript too many times, it will play too many times, and I only want it to play once. JavaScript. Doesn't really matter how many times you say the wake word, it should only play the trigger once or the value once. So I was thinking, okay, this, and then there's some cancelled, session started, session stopped events. You can and then at the end you say recognize a dot, start continuous recognition, and that's about it. And then when it's done, you say stop, and then all that's need to do is just call it from your main function. So this is the POC, and it kind of works quite well. So I thought, well, let's move this to the side, and then let's start off to create a .NET Core application from scratch to actually make use of, because I want to overlay this to OBS. And instead of using NAudio, that can work, right? But I want to make a sort of a browser component that I overlay on my OBS as a layout, and then when I say the wake word on the server side, it needs to trigger, and then it needs to sort of do a signal or push to the client side, and then using JavaScript just play that audio file or video file or whatever GIF. It can be a GIF as well. And that we play on the screen itself to give some visual feedback, for instance. So let's see if we can do this very quickly. So create a new project. Let's do a core application. Okay, let's say we call this cool. What are we going to call this? Voice trigger. OBS voice trigger. OBS voice trigger. Or whatever. We can change it later. It's probably a concept. Do I only have 2.1 on my machine? What? This cannot be. I thought I had 2.2 at least, or 3 or whatever. interesting. Okay, well, let's just go with the latest ones. The one I have on my machine. That one. Voice trigger. Okay, now what do I want? I want a... I'm going to start off with a web application. Create. I'm going to use 2.1, but it's fine. You can upgrade it later, I believe. Okay, so on the bat, I'm just going to go ahead and delete a few of these files that I am not needing at the moment. So this index, let me see, this guy, paste this guy in here, title, I'll just leave the title as it is. We don't need some bootstraps things, or maybe leave that in for now. Then we have a navbar, we have a cookie path, we've got this container. We'll just leave that out for now. Then there's some more JavaScript things that we might need. Right, so let's kill that. So as a side note, I'm not a JavaScript dev, so, or even any front-end dev. So this might be a complete mess, or it might be quite entertaining to watch. So all the shared pages, I can delete all the imports. Should I delete imports now? About, contact, error, and privacy. I'm going to delete all of these pages. It's not needed. And I'm going to go ahead and run this to see how this works. If it's actually fine. Already an error because it's looking for that. It's looking for that layout file. So kill the layout. Oh, it's still looking for the layout file. That's quite annoying. That should work, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, it's complaining about the HTTPS something, but the thing is working here. So to try it out, let's say A1, we say foo, just to see if we've got an alive site here. Okay, we've got a live site, so that's cool. It's quite concerning that it's actually trying to... Okay, well, that should work, right? Okay. Now, what do we need? We're basically going to be needing the same kind of things. I'm just going to take this off for now. And call them triggers. In app settings. And what we want is on startup, what's loading in here at startup. We have cookies and stuff that we don't need. some static files, and this cookie policy thing I can probably take out. Alright, so what do we have? So we first need to sort of configure. We have our options, so let's see if we can have a services dot no, it's not actually needed. So we first need to install cognitive services. So it's this little guy here. Okay, so that's installed. Great. And then when this thing gets loaded up, I'm just gonna steal this class, static speech recognition async. Let me see what's happening here. So let's add a new class and we call it voice speech recognizer. Life Renko, thank you very much for the follow. Wow, that's great. One up. Thank you very much. Okay, sticking in a bunch of things here. This config is the keys and stuff, so I probably would like to use the secrets of let me just see how the secrets works. Like that, for instance, and then I need to pass in this config. Then we say, for instance, iConfiguration. And we say configuration, and not a property, we want some field, for instance. And then we can say, you know what, the configuration. What was this configuration called? This configuration was called a speech config. So we actually make this a speech config. And the configuration pass in here, we can say from subscription. And we say, for instance, configuration. Let's make it speech config to make it a bit better understandable, I would say. And then we would say here, for instance, Microsoft Cognitive Service. Oops. MS Cog. MSCOG subscription ID. Alright, and then let me see. Do that, and then same for. I will refactor this in a sec. And region. Okay, MSCOG. Right, so that's cool. And then here we just say speech config. That should be cool. For the folks that's just joined us, welcome. I'm writing a little bot, if you will, a sort of a speech recognition trigger bot for my OBS stream in ASP.NET Core. Right, so what is this all about? Why does this not work? Recognizer. Oh well, that's interesting. It's complaining about speech recognizer type in a using statement must be explicitly convertible to iDisposable. Implement a dispose method. Okay, so they you know what? It's the same. It's a voice. Let's call this trigger recognizer rather. Let's call that trigger recognizer. It's quickly that you can get into trouble. Okay, so this trigger recognizer, I'm just going to delete a few code here. We need to get rid of this. Cancel, I'm not interested in those events. That event I'm really just interested into. And we actually just have a while true. Sleep. For instance, I hope this works. Hello, hello, hello. For everyone who just joined us, welcome. Unreachable code detected. Well, okay, fine. I'm just going to keep this in here because I have no idea what will happen if I take it out. Alright, so now I have my dispatcher. Dispatcher is... I most probably can implement this whole thing here. But what I want is to do this in SignalR. So first, let's just see if this works. So I've got my recognizing text in there. I'm just quickly going to paste my key. Do I need to... What's the right way of doing this? Oh. I most probably would need a secrets viewer or something now to load this up. .NET secret add. How does this work? Command not found. Oh, user secrets, okay. Alright, so let's see. Initializes, let's try that. Init. Okay, so that's been added. And now we can say set the secret. How does that work? Set name value. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say ms cog, I believe it was. Ms cog subscription ID. And then quickly give my subscription ID. Let's just put it this way. Nope. And okay, and then the way I did this was .NET user secrets add, and it was MSCOG region. That's doesn't really make sense or make a difference. West Europe. I think it was West Europe, right? So if we go here, it's West Europe. Set. Right, so now I have a West Europe and my secret saved in my store, so I don't have to worry about bleeding it to you guys. I don't know, I'm not entirely sure I can actually share my secret out there. Alright, so we have that. And if we run this, will this work? Okay. Testing, testing. It does not work. Maybe I should log it. Because, yeah, maybe I should just say hi logger. And we can say, you know, this.logger. We can say logger.create. Oh, is that? Oh, logger factory. Logger factory. Oh, what am I doing? Logger factory of, I don't know, trigger, recognizer or something. And here we say dot create. My code is so bad this morning. I'll just take this off because that's not a thing. I think that's much better, right? So we log a factory, then we create a logger, and instead of saying console.writeLine, we can say logger.log information. I don't know. Will this work? Hello, hello. Oh, you know what? I'm not starting. This thing is not started, so it needs to kind of run. This thing needs to run somehow, right? So what we need to do is we need to create a background task. That's what we need to do. To do that, create a new class, and we call this trigger recognizer background task, and we'll implement a background task. Is it background? Is it background task? I'm not sure. ASP.NET Core background service, maybe. Yeah, that's what it was. Service. Okay, so maybe let's just rename that to background service, and then we should be good to go. And no, I'm not using resharper, sorry. Okay, implement this guy, control dots, implementing it, boom. Now this is when it gets executed. So whenever this runs, I would like my recognizer to start. So here I have my voice Let's call this a voice trigger or trigger recognizer. We'll pass that in. And then we will say trigger recognizer dot recognize speech. Okay, so something is still missing here because I need to be able to sort of say mutation. Okay, that will use my speech things. Okay. Wait. And over here I would say I would do the... Will that be... Hopefully that will work, right? We pass the... Okay, now. Only thing that's left to do is to add it to the services. We say add singleton background I hosted service, I would say. And it's called the trigger recognizer background service. And another singleton, we need to add the trigger recognizer. That should be fine. And this should be... Why is this a problem? And for now, let's do that. Okay, now let's run this. Hopefully this will work. Testing, testing. Okay, now it's recognizing. It's recognizing something, which means it is doing... It's doing something. So I've got a web app now. That's a web app. There we go. It's recognizing in the background, which is quite cool. Right. Now this background service, I believe, can just be started. That's fine. And what do we else need here? Now we need some kind of a SignalR service to push things to a hub. How do we do that? SignalR. I know Jan de Vries did something yesterday with SignalR. Let's see. Okay, let's see. How do we do this? Blah, blah, blah. WebSockets, hubs, tutorials, server concepts, hubs. Right, chat sample. I think that should be fine. Use SignalR. Okay, great. So they've got that in place. And first things first, what do we need to add here? Well, that's already included. Looks like it. Hubs. A chat hub. So, okay, let's hijack this. Let's call this one, and we'll call this a voice trigger hub. Voice trigger hub. Okay, Great, so control dot, use that. And that should be fine, right? So broadcast message. Nice. And then on program, there's nothing special. Nothing special here. Sample. We use signal R here, and it's put it in there. Use signal R. Just call this trigger. Now I've got my hub and everything is set up. Let's see how this is implemented on the client side. If they've got a index file, they obviously have this library that they pull in. And where am I going to get that library from? Let's quickly do a Google. Probably an NPM thing because ooh, I need that. Alright, so let's see. Let's look for this one. Come on. Strange. Do I really have? I'm gonna quickly see what is my .NET SDK. I've got 3.0 and I've got 2.1 installed. I don't have anything else installed, which is kind of weird, but fine. So we need to go to what? What did this guy say? Add client-side library. Nope. In the Solution Explorer, right-click the project. Add. Oh yeah, there we go. Add a client-side library. I need to look for unpackaged. That one. I need to get that one. It will pull in a lot of stuff. Whoa. This pulls in a lot of stuff. Is this normal? I don't need the specific files. I don't need that one. Let's just see. We need probably just this browser one, right? Install. Hopefully this will work. I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay. Cool. Okay, they only chose Signal R and Min, which is fine. Created a hub. Add Signal R, that's what we forgot. That's what I forgot. Add Signal R. There we go. And now the client-side code. Oh man. What's happening here? Why is this complaining? Okay, of course, that's creating a boulder. Okay, now our index page. I'm gonna go to this one. I don't really need that. That's lib signal R. Let's see. Lib. Not really the same one, but let's say lib at ASP.NET. No. At ASP.NET. Signal R. Dist browser. Signal R. Great. So that's that one. Okay, and then js.site, which is this one. Okay, great. So let's see how I can copy this, stick this in here. And I think this was trigger. I don't have that. On receive message. Don't have that. Okay. Okay, so basically I'm just cleaning up some code. Okay, so from the hub, how this works, I believe it will invoke that broadcast message function. So this should be broadcast message, isn't it? Okay, maybe let's call this differently. Let's say trigger or on trigger. Or maybe trigger received. I'm a bit pedantic. Okay, and then send. Okay. Trigger. Make this key value. Like that. Okay. Cancel that out. Now, trigger received, key, and value. Now, let's see. Let's maybe just go console dot, I think it's info or something. Info, and we say key is key and value is value. That kind of should work, I believe. Shouldn't blow up on my face. Do I need something else here? Let's see. Let's see if it breaks. Hello, if you just joined us, we are writing a voice trigger for my stream. So let's see if I have a console. It was connected, but nothing is coming through at this stage because you know what? Nothing is triggering that hub. It's triggering at the back end, but it's not yet triggering the hub. So how do I call that hub? And then run the app. Okay, let's see, I'm missing something crucial here, I believe. We have a hub. Okay, and how do you send stuff to the hub? From code, I believe, but how? Dum dum dum. Dum dum dum. Server concept sends from outside hub. Hub context. Now let's try that. We have got a hub context that we need to inject into the, I think it is the recognizer maybe. There's a hub context. Our hub context resolve that. And we have our voice recognition hub. That's our hub context. We'll just go ahead and create a field for that. Right, so now I can actually do things to this. So I'm going to say that. Okay. Whenever this is, I'm going to say await. Hub contexts. Hub context clients all. Okay, async, will that work? Send async notify. So this is most probably the trigger. It's send trigger. I don't need a hub though. This is not needed. Okay, the reason why I'm commenting that out is because this is connections from the client to the hub. We only want to go one way. So now we actually say need to send the trigger example and two parameters. So I want to go and send my, well, I don't know, just result text or something. Okay, that's going to send the key. Okay, so let's for now keep it like this. And I think now when it runs, it should now work. Testing 1, 2. Great. I have now created a server-side component that pushes the stuff to client-side over Signal R connection. Now, obviously, the things that you're seeing on the screen now, everything won't go through. Only the dispatcher will dispatch a event through. So what we need, I'm going to can this one. we need some kind of dispatcher now. Is this dispatcher here? So maybe let's copy this dispatcher for now. This is very dirty code, but hey, it works. then maybe in a follow-up episode we can refactor this even more. Trigger dispatcher. Okay. Call this trigger dispatcher. Right, so okay, so this dispatcher has plenty of things here, so we need to enhance it a bit with configuration. Hi XV34. Question. Sorry for my question and level of English. My question is, what is listening to the streamer? I'm not sure what you mean. My question is, what is listening to the streamer? So the application or browser. Oh, I see. Okay, so what we have is we have a server-side component and a browser component. So the server-side component uses a background task or background process that that loops and listens to the speaker. So in essence, it's from the server side, it listens, and it will try to figure out if it matches kind of trigger words on the server, and only when it matches, I want to send through special payload to my client, and all that my client will do is just execute those payloads. So I don't want any logic in my client. I want to be able to send through maybe a keyword and a media file or something that it needs to play, or media files or something that it needs to play. Does that answer your question, XV34? Thank you very much for engaging. That is very cool. I would be very interested to see how you do that. Do you have a sample code that you can share with me? That would be quite interesting to see where the similarities are in your process. Okay, so moving on. We have configuration. This is obviously static, so it should be instance. Configuration, and this is triggers. Will that read the configuration now as a I think what we can do is make this a key value pair, because the triggers here is a key value pair. So let's paste that guys in there. Right, so moving on, we have I think we could say services dot configure. I think it's a key value pair or something. Maybe dictionary. Dictionary of string maybe. Will that work? Oops. And we say high configuration. Configuration, yeah, yes. Configuration. We call this triggers. Okay. XV34, this is a standard reference and a sample to speech recognition API. Perhaps it was enough to solve this, and I haven't plunged into the task enough yet, and therefore the question arises. No problem. Questions are welcome. Thank you very much for stating those questions. Okay, now I should have some kind of dictionary. So instead of, I can go I options, dictionary, options maybe, and we can say private dictionary string. Maybe I overcomplicating this whole thing, but let's see what happens. Options dot is options dot value. Okay, so play won't implement play here, because then it will be playing on the server side. So what do we have here? We have triggers or something. Options dot single or default would still work. There are. So let's see if I just pause this there for a second to see if this actually works. Testing. Okay, this dispatcher I need to still also wire up. Is this even needed? Okay. Trigger dispatcher. I will dispatch that text to the dispatcher. Welcome everyone. For the guys that have just joined us, I'm writing a voice trigger for my OBS stream. Do follow along, ask your questions, and we'll see how it goes. Right. And on my startup, I need to register this as a singleton as well. Let's call this trigger dispatcher without overthinking too much. Now I should get back a bunch of things. There are two items here. Hello and meow. So let's see if I console.write line. Let's see if it comes in here. Hello. Okay, that breaks. And if I speak, nothing happens. That's great. So now if I say JavaScript, it will break. Great stuff. All that I need to do now is actually from the dispatcher dispatch this. So previously I had this hub here. That's not the right place to have it. Just move this out. I think I can move this out and move this out, because it's already going to the dispatcher. I need it in here. Right, so we have that. Configuration is not needed. And then all that's left to do is cut this guy out and paste it in here. Am I right in saying that? Okay, now I need to do this async task thingy. and text. But I have the trigger key and value, so I can go trigger key and okay, and trigger dot value I have now. Great, so now that's in place. My client will only trigger on certain things. Libman, what? And in here I have, obviously I'm going to undo these things. And now if I run this, hopefully this will work. And quickly F12. So I shouldn't get any values. I should get it on the server side, but nothing should actually pop through on client side until I say JavaScript. There we go. And until I say hello. So that works. And this is my hands, right? So I can say JavaScript, hello. So this is great. Cool. So this works. Okay, we can go further. It's been almost just over an hour, but I'm going to try finish. Okay, it's alive. X434. I think that deserves a emote storm. How about that? Thank you. Do choose to follow me if you want to see more content, some cheesy content like this. I like to create cheesy content. Okay, great. So now the next thing. Thank you very much for the follow, X434 or XV34. Sorry, prop. Thank you very much for the follow. This step closer to becoming a Twitch affiliate, and it's not possible without my followers. Thank you very much. So now you have a privacy concern as you are listening to unrelated audio. Martin van Stam, I'm not sure what you mean by privacy concern, because do know that this site won't be hosted anywhere. It will only be hosted on my machine, the streamer's machine. So that's the idea. I want to overlay this on my OBS stream. I'm gonna LOL. I'm gonna LOL that one. LOL. LOL. Haha. So this is nothing to do with privacy at this stage, I would say. This is only like for local development. Nothing will leave local host. To be clear. But it's a fair comment, I would say. Where was I? So now we have this. If you have nothing to hide, there's no issue. I agree. That's what Apple says. JF Verschleiß. Hey, Gerald, how are you doing, sir? Great stream. Tonight, I'm looking forward to that. Both of you, Martin and Gerald, check them out. If you're a Xamarin developer or a Xamarin guy, Gerald does Xamarin development. He's the guy in the chat, right? JF Verschleiß. Go check out his profile. And if you're rather into Office development, like Office apps and stuff, Martin from Stum is your guy. He does a stream every week on Tuesdays as well. So do check out those folks' stream. Now I need to quickly see how I can... Is it a hi or bye? I suppose it's a bye. Bye! Great to see you. I need to see how do I create a media player. Media player. HTML. Am I going for the audio or the video? Because I can play a GIF. Yeah, I would say audio, but yeah, it's probably the same thing. But I would also like to play. Let's first go for the audio. Because I also want to show something on the screen, right? So let's do that. But also the thing is, we need to be able to have access to that audio file. So that's another thing we need to remember. Let's stick that in there. Right, so we have control, pause. So now this this file should be a controller or something. It reads and use preload for instant actions. XV34, I'm not sure what you mean. Just if you can elaborate on that, would be great. So source, I think I can set source. Let me think about it quickly. So the source is assigned to this file. So audio controls source, does this have an ID? Of course. We call this player. And then the source can be set by an API call or something. So the audio file starts playing as quickly as possible. It's better to use preload. How do I do that? Preload? But the thing is, I don't know the audio file up front. I want the server to push a trigger with an audio file or a pointer to an audio file kind of thing. So there's a parameter in the audio tag. Preload? Prefix? No. The thing is, there's going to be local host anyway, so it's not going to be slow. I just want to get my train of thought here. How is this going to work? So if I'm going to be, for instance, saying API assets, for instance, and pass in. Okay, thank you. XV34, that's good information to know. I will try that out in a sec. Just give me 1 sec. The source is set dynamically. When I then var player, will this work if I say document dot get element by ID player dot source get attributes or set attributes source, I think, and then the value is the key. Well, let's call this slash API slash assets, and then we'll pass in the key. I think maybe I'm just kind of overcomplicating this whole thing, but it needs to be kind of dynamic, you know. Or when the signal R fires off, it needs to push through. This is what can happen. We can preload all. Yes, we can preload all songs, all players. That's maybe a good idea. We can preload all players and just activate one. That's maybe also a good idea. So the idea is to make a audio controls. So I must be able to inject a dictionary or an I options. Okay, this doesn't work. Extensions. That namespace. Microsoft dot extensions dot configuration or something. Is that so? There's also a problem with starting a playback of the audio file. Sometimes it just doesn't start, therefore in some cases you must first stop the playing file and then start the playback. Okay, thank you for that. That is something I can really consider. Let's just quickly, don't really lose my train of thought. I am here. Options, so extensions options. Alright, so I need to go back there. Okay, and I call this options. Okay, so that should light up in a sec. Maybe that should be on top. What? Okay, using. Okay, that should now hopefully work. There we go. That falls away, so now we have options. Now I can say, you know what, for each trigger in options.value, which is my trigger, I want to be able to create a control. Oops, put that in there. Move out there. And magic cleaning button. This doesn't look good. What? That's the int tag, right? So what's the problem? Okay. Okay, so now I should have all these triggers, and then the sources should be that everything exists on disk. So, because this is local, will this actually work? Let's add them. Let's actually add them in the proper folder. Sounds or media. Meow and horse. We'll add them to media. We could push this through, but I think the payload is a bit too big. Okay, where's the horse? Should go there. Yes. Great stuff. Okay, so now app settings needs to be media/horse and media/meow. I think that's fair enough, right? And then here I just say trigger dot value or something. Let's see what it does. Let's see what it does. Okay, so I've got one player. I've got a cat. Okay, that's interesting. Elements. That's audio controls. There's two sources. There's. Okay. Will this work though? Use JS for start play. Yeah, I know that. I understand. But the thing is this fine? Will it have both of them have an ID player? Maybe I must assign the ID to the, maybe say trigger dot key or something. I hope. Okay, so here we can say player is da da da, and then we can say use JS for start play. So we can say play or something. How do we play? How do we play? 3 run 3 artista. I hope I said correct. Thank you very much for the follow. That's amazing. ID.play. So okay, so do we need to say key.play? Key play. Will that work? That should work, right? So JavaScript. Nope, it's not working. There's some errors in the console. Object does not support method play. Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Whoa, there goes my contact lens. Moment. I'm gonna see my contact lens. There we go. I think I can see again. All right, so let's see. Is this, what is this called? Hey, thank you very much for the code. Okay, I see, but there must be a different way of how we can use the HTML audio source. HTML audio play JavaScript. That is video. Okay, so that's the video. Video and audio. What? Okay. DOM elements for the audio and video elements. Okay. Audio and video. Okay, so does each of them have a audio file? Because I've got a source. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I should move this this guy and this guy inside. Oops. Inside of my for each. Right, and this way we can then call this one and then entail say yes. Let's see if this works. JavaScript. Not working. Nothing happens on the hello. Look at that. Hey, JavaScript. That works perfectly fine. That's cool, man. We've got like, hello, JavaScript. It's alive. Now, the next thing to do is maybe to do like a GIF or something when something happens. So, can we Let's think about this. Let's say give green screen. Okay, so what's this? These are just some video files. Green screen GIFs. We can maybe use one of these as a test. There's a cat one. And why use green screen? You can use the alpha channel. The thing is, I want to use it as an overlay. That's right, Martin. I want to use it as an overlay on my stream. So to give you an example, let's copy this out. And let's make something quick and dirty quickly. Let's say, for instance, I have my, let's say I have my image. My source is that. And the ID of that is, just call that cat, just for now, or GIF. Okay, and the rest of these guys, I'm gonna go and say, just to display. Does this would work hidden? Will that be hidden? Okay. So let's see if we say the page style background color is green. I think that's fine. Okay, so I should have style display none. Okay, great. So yes, alpha channels should be easier. You don't need to remove the green screen, I suppose. So I don't know what you mean by alpha channel, but I'll get back to you in a second. I'd have no idea. One question. Shoot, XV34. That's cool. What was that? GIF. I understand alpha channel is transparent. We can say set how do I set the style? Yes, it's style. Are overlays embedded in OBS like browser source, or you use different way? So the only way I know of is the browser source. So yeah, that's the only way I know of. Sorry. How do I actually set the display to JavaScript? The world is annoying. Style display none. Okay. That's fantastic. We'll just hit that up. Okay, that's fine. And then we need to say sleep or something. Will that work? How do you sleep? JavaScript sleep. Okay. Okay, say. Okay, so set timeout, I would say. Set timeout. Callback would be, for instance, function. And the timeout should be, let's make it 2 seconds. And then when it's done, we'll just hide this guy. None, right? In that case, background color, margin, auto. Well, okay, fine. Let's do that. Paste this guy in there. I need bootstrap, right? So I can take this out. I can take that out. Will this run? If you need transparent background of page, let's see. Okay, so now, oh, that's a bit not safe for work. Let's can that one. Let's refresh. Oops. Okay, now let's see. JavaScript. Okay, hello. See, there's my cat. Hello. Okay, so that works. Maybe just keeps it around for too long. Let's make it for like 10 seconds or something, or 5. That should be fine, right? Okay, but now I have a transparent background. In OBS, let's maybe put it into this one. Browser. Let's say voice trigger. Okay, now I need to say this is my configuration in OBS. This goes to localhost 5001, I think. Okay. Okay, so let's put that there. If I run it, hello? Okay, so that does not work. Hello? So does the browser actually support? That's a different thing. Am I... That should be fine, right? So why is this not working? Local file. Maybe. That's fine, right? So this is... Okay, let's see. I don't think even this is possible in OBS. That's a bit of a showstopper, I would say. Let's quickly do this. And just for me, I want to say foo, just to see if something is rendered correctly there. So foo is not rendered for some reason. Maybe because I must use HTTP, I don't know. Nothing is rendered here. You put the browser window in the screen. Yeah, that's what I've done. It's a bit difficult to show, but it is in the scene, the browser. There's my properties. Shut down source when it's visible. Refresh browser when scene comes active. Hello? So that works, but the browser doesn't work. That's weird. Maybe if I that won't work, right? So, hello? That won't work either. That's weird. That should work. Let's go. Browser trigger. We say ID is whatever. Doesn't even load my foo page. Oh, there's foo. Okay. Now, okay, that's hello. There we go. It's alive. It's alive. Nice. Nice. Okay, so now I have my little thingy there. What was the issue? I have no idea. All I know is that I can... hopefully my cognitive services bill won't add up if I say JavaScript for too long, you know? So that's quite cool how that can work. Let me stop this quickly. I think when you stop and start this, it will go away. So let's see. Ah, damn. How do I run this now? Then replace the Nincat with a green screen of gift. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yes. Okay, so we'll try that now in a sec. The dot run to have this thing run independently. I think this one needs to refresh the cache. And if I say hello, that works. Great. Okay, now let's maybe move this guy over here somewhere. And then we say green screen. Just give me 1 second. Filters. So for you guys to see what I'm doing here, I'm adding a filter. Chroma key to green. So if I say hello, that will work. Great, so that works. Awesome shit. Oh, not safe for work. Okay, so now let's see if I do this now. If I want to say copy this and go to me only. I think this is a cool outro. We missed the green flag in the inline rainbow. Okay, so now if I say JavaScript, I get this. How cool is that? And if I say hello, I get that. So this is how you create, very roughly, with SignalR, ASP.NET Core, some dodgy code, and Microsoft Cognitive Services. You can create awesome things to say JavaScript and hello. Hello. Alright, so for this you need Alpha channel. Okay, great. Guys, thank you very much. I need to quickly run, get dressed and quickly run. Thank you so much for actually stopping by and working with me. It was completely fun. And with that, I would say the last time is let me just quickly read some chat here. As you missed the green flag lines in the rainbow. So if we say hello. Okay, I missed the green. Okay, but so I missed the green ones. That's cool. And then Martin, as I say before. Now, okay, guys, I'm gonna go offline. Thank you very much for joining me again in this awesome stream. I'm gonna actually play around with this code a bit, but I have to run. Play around with this code a bit, and then when we have chance, maybe we can refactor this and maybe make it a bit better to have awesome gifts by supporting a yeah, we'll put it on GitHub once it's done. I'm going to finish my JavaScript refactoring. Oh, see, there it goes. There it goes. With that, cheers guys. Have a nice day.